Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really fundamental question. I mean, it challenges almost everything we think we know about how a nation works.
Right.
How can a country, a powerful one, built on industry and, education, just collapse? Not from bombs, not from armies, but because of its money.
It's a huge question.
We're going to be looking at post-World War I Germany to try and figure out how something like that could possibly happen.
And it's such a counterintuitive story. We're always focused on, military power, geopolitics.
There's the visible stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the sources we've looked at for this, they really drive home one core idea right from the start.
Then what's that?
That the destruction of a nation's foundation,
Yeah.
it isn't always a kinetic event. Sometimes it's just that quiet moment when everyone stops believing in the currency.
See, I struggle with that idea. Money is, coins and paper. It's a tool. How can a tool failing bring everything down?
Because it's so much more than a tool. The sources call it a collective psychological map.
The map. Okay, explain
Right.
that.
It's the agreed upon story of value. It's how we plan for the future. And if that map gets destroyed, if you have no idea what your savings will buy you tomorrow, or even in an hour.
Then you can't navigate. Society can't navigate.
Precisely. The whole system just seizes up.
So that really reframes everything. Our mission today, then, is to get past that simple story of they just printed too much money.
Right.
We want to uncover the real human stories and, more importantly, the three root causes behind it all. We're getting into what people don't usually tell you about how a loss of trust can just shatter a major power.
And for you, the listener, this is the shortcut to understanding a really devastating moment in history.
Okay, let's set the stage. The war is over. Germany's defeated. But the crisis isn't just the treaty terms, is it?
No, not at all. It's this perfect storm of these crippling war reparations that the victors demanded, combined with total chaos internally, politically, economically, everything.
And this is where it stops being about abstract economics and starts being about, well, real life.
It becomes visceral, yeah. The sources are filled with these stories that make the term hyperinflation feel real. I mean, think about an ordinary worker.
So if prices are just skyrocketing, how do you even buy food? How do you live?
You adjust to absurdity. That's how. Workers started getting paid twice a day.
Twice a day.
Yeah, and not as some kind of perk. It was a necessity. You'd get your wages and you had to literally run out and buy bread or milk right then.
Because if you waited
even a few hours, the price might double. Holding on to cash for even half a day meant you were losing money.
That's a speed I can't even comprehend. What's the most striking image the sources give us to capture that?
Oh, the visual details are just...
Yeah.
They would stick with you. You've got people pushing wheelbarrows.
Wheelbarrows.
Full of cash.
Okay.
A whole wheelbarrow of paper money just to buy one loaf of bread.
Unbelievable.
Or you hear about housewives taking these huge suitcases stuffed to the brim with money to the market and coming home with just a few potatoes. But I think this is the detail that says it all. The paper money became so worthless that it was cheaper to burn it for heat than to buy firewood.
You're saying people were literally burning money in their stoves.
Yes. The paper itself was worth more as fuel than as currency.
And at the same time, this must have created this bizarre situation for anyone with foreign money, right?
A massive opportunity. The entire German middle class, the educated foundation of the country, doctors, professors, lawyers, their life savings were just wiped out. Gone. Instantly.
All foreigners could come in and
buy up the country for pennies. One source mentioned that for about $100, an American could hire the entire Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra for a private concert.
$100.
That tells you everything you need to know. The pillars of society became beggars.
So it's not just an economic collapse, it's a social one, a psychological one.
Absolutely.
If the people you're supposed to look up to, the stable, educated class, are suddenly destitute, who do you trust? Where do you turn?
And that's the pivot. We have to move from the symptoms, the prices, the printing, to the cause. The belief system failed first. The economy just followed.
So if all that value just vanishes, what does that do to people's behavior? Is it just panic?
It's panic, but it's also cynicism. A breakdown of cooperation.
Everyone for themselves.
Exactly. And that's what seals the currency's fate. Look, money only works because we all agree it does. It's a shared fiction.
Right.
The second enough people start to believe this will be worthless tomorrow, their actions make it worthless today. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, a terrible one.
But hold on. This is where I think most people, including me, get stuck. You see pictures of the wheelbarrows of cash, and the obvious conclusion is they just printed too much money.
Right.
That was the mistake. But you're saying it's a symptom, not the cause.
It's a crucial distinction, and the sources are really clear on it. Printing money was the form the collapse took. It was the visible sign of the disease.
Like a fever.
Perfect analogy. You don't get sick because you have a fever. The fever is telling you you're sick.
Yeah.
The real infection, the root cause, was a combination of three other factors that basically forced their hand.
Okay, let's break those down. What was the first one? What was that pressure that just took all the good options off the table?
The first one was the poison of unpayable debt, specifically the war reparation.
The Treaty of Versailles.
Yes. Germany was forced to pay amounts that were just completely beyond what their economy could produce. So the government had this impossible choice.
Which was?
Print money to make the payments.
Yeah.
Or default immediately and face, invasion and a complete sudden collapse.
So they chose the slurry path.
They chose the slow, creeping collapse of hyperinflation over the fast one. It was a choice between two disasters.
Which leads right into the second cause, I'd imagine. When you're in an impossible situation, what do leaders do?
They evade, and that's number two. Political incompetence and the illusion of solvency. The Weimar Republic was incredibly unstable.
Governments were changing constantly.
Constantly. Like a broken traffic light. So nobody was in charge long enough to make the hard choices.
Like raising taxes or cutting spending.
Exactly. The painful stuff, the easy option was always just to turn on the printing presses. It let them pretend things were okay just for a little while longer.
So the government was basically trying to fool everyone.
They were. And that deception leads directly to the third and really the ultimate root cause.
Which isn't economic at all.
No. It's the shattering of collective trust. When the state is lying about its weakness and the people see the lie and start panicking, spending instantly, hoarding things, the social contract just dissolves.
The government loses all legitimacy.
And the system implodes because that shared belief in the value of money is just, it's gone.
Okay, let's unpack this. This isn't just a history lesson. This is a warning system. So what does it mean for us today? What are the big takeaways?
Well, looking at how they eventually fixed it in 1923, the sources give us four really critical lessons.
What's the first?
It's about intellectual honesty. Lesson one is, understand the system you're in.
Don't just trust it blindly.
Never. Never entrust your entire financial future to a system you don't actually grasp. You have to think critically about debt, about currency, about what's really going on. If you just operate on faith, you're incredibly vulnerable.
That makes a lot of sense. The second lesson, it sounds like it applies to pretty much every economic debate we have today.
It really does. Lesson two is, beware the easy policy.
Quick fix.
Yes. Real lasting stability never, ever comes from just printing more money or pumping it into the system to cover up a deeper problem. It's popular with politicians, but it almost always leads to harder consequences later on.
Okay, so of these lessons, which one do you think was the hardest for them to face back then?
That'll be lesson three. Treat the root cause, not the symptom.
Like the fever analogy.
Exactly. A nation's economy is like a body. The Weimar Republic's deepest illness was that its debt was unpayable. They needed to face that truth, either by defaulting or completely resetting the currency.
But they didn't.
They kept treating the symptom, the high prices, with more money, which just made the illness worse. They lacked the courage to face the truth.
And what's the final lesson?
The final one ties it all together. The absolute centrality of trust.
When trust is gone, everything is gone.
Everything. The government, the currency, the social order. And the hardest part is that to rebuild that trust, you need absolute, painful, transparent honesty, no matter how unpopular it is.
It's a powerful pattern.
It is. If you look at this story, the core lesson is that civilizations don't really collapse from the outside in.
They collapse from the inside out.
Always. It starts with the truths they're unwilling to face.
So the ultimate tragedy here isn't just the lost savings. It's not the wheelbarrows of cash.
No.
The real tragedy is when people and their governments lose sight of reality, when they choose the easy illusion over the hard truth.
That's the heart of it.
The sources you shared, they paint a terrifying picture, but also a very clarifying one. And we really encourage you, listening to this, to use that idea, the critical role of trust, as a lens for how you see the world.
The biggest mistake wasn't an economic calculation. It was a failure of courage.
And so the question to carry forward from this is pretty simple. Where, in the world today, are difficult truths being masked by easy solutions? That's the question to think about.